Good evening. Are you tired of always being the strongest, of always winning everything you go and having all the easy fights and stuff like that? Do you ever wish life would just get a little bit harder? Well, worry not. Everyone else is about to get a whole lot stronger, and you're going to have to pay attention or you might fall behind. That would be good. Hi, I'm the professor, and if you like archers, I've got the guide for you. This is one that you're really going to want to pay attention to because I'll just spell it out to you guys here. Warrior archers have had it easy. They had their golden age during Season 1. Everything went their way. Cavalries were non-existent. So many targets. They were the strongest. It was a glory age for them. Now other people are starting to get their powerful tools, and they're starting to catch up. Warrior archers are still very, very strong, but they're just not easy strong. Their counters are going to become a lot more frequent. The targets that they can pick on are going to become a lot more resilient. It's a harder life for them. They have to make sure that they're careful and not make mistakes. If they do that, they get to stay dominant and stay very strong throughout. But if they don't do it properly, they're going to fall behind. So if you listen to me and listen to this video here, I'll help you not fall behind. It's going to break down into two parts. I'll show you what you need to do to build your army up, and then I'll show you all the details and stuff that go into behind it. And the details that I've got are, let's say, quite a lot. It'll make for a little bit of a longer video, but I've got investments here, skill scrolls, how it works, your commander skill, signature skill, double attacks, different skill abilities that you have like Pay in Blood and Dark Flag, synergy, counters, how you Night Wolf there activates and stuff, your rings. I've even got some charts here in the bottom that I'll explain. That's a lot of information, and that might not be for everybody, but for those of you who enjoy this sort of stuff, stick around to the end, and you'll get quite a lot of interesting insight into how to make sure you stay one of the strongest. With that, though, let's now get into the hero. First bit is her base stats and stuff like this. You can ignore the stuff on the right, that's just calculation. But base might, 1 star, 3 stars, 5 stars. You can see how much that she has over there and compare it with others. This is going to be her skill bonus. So 353 means that she gets a 1.06 multiplier on hers. So a 200 skill would become 406. Or I guess 412 would be the one. So that's what that is. Some people find that interesting, many not. So let's move on. Her commander skill. Well, let's go. Oh wait, the very first thing I should say here is how you get her is she's going to be available from the wheel. 75 days after the server launches, you'll see her pop up. She is available with Boudica as the 2 heroes, and she is at the start of Season 2. The very first heroes that you get from Season 2 is going to include Bellevue. She is going to be very powerful. She's going to go and replace Rani, is what it is. But that's not always the case. I'm going to have to explain this one in a little bit. But there's times where you want to use Rani. There's times where you want to use Attila. Specifically, if you go for Lu Bu, who is not out yet, you'll most likely take one of Rani or Attila and give them to your Mulan army, and give the other one to Lu Bu army. Each of them serves a very similar role, and you only need one in each army. Question becomes, Attila goes into whatever one your most powerful is. So if Mulan's is most powerful, put Attila with Mulan. If Lu Bu is very quickly becoming your most powerful, switch him out and put Rani with your Mulan. For now, we're just going to go on the assumption that it's Attila we're putting here. But you're going to want to go Mulan first, Bellevue second, and then third, Attila. It is important to have Attila third and not second, because he has the skill, Warrior's Hymn, which will boost the next hero's might. And you want that to land on Mulan. Because while Bellevue is strong, Mulan still does more base damage. So she's still going to out-damage Bellevue, so you still want Attila boosting Mulan. You also want Mulan as your commander and not Bellevue, because Mulan's commander skill is a massive amount more damage versus Bellevue's is very, very low. I'll explain that one in a bit. But so that's how you acquire her, and that's what she's going to do. Let's actually get over to Bellevue and what she does. Bellevue, the pirate who could. Her very first skill is going to be called Eminent Tempest. That's her commander skill. So with this one here is going to do 300 rage cost. All right, 300 rage with 100 initial. So it's going to go off 20 seconds into the fight. Now it's going to deal damage to a target, which is going to be one target, and it's 200 damage. So that's actually not a very big number at all. Oops, this one. 200 damage to one target. Okay. The total damage is going to be 200. One to that. This damage increase here will increase the damage of your skills by a portion, which is 35%, for 6 seconds. So that means after a 20-second wait, you get 6 seconds of 35% increased skill damage with the might bonus, so it'll be at least twice as high. And then you have to wait 35 seconds for the next one. Her signature skill is called Black Tide. It is a passive. There is a % chance to enter the double attack state. This is essentially exactly the same as Attila, except for herself only. Okay, it's also a lot higher. So 65% at base, but it goes up to 75 at 3-star. So 65 or 75% chance to enter double attack state for 3 seconds, which means you get 1 attack. And increases the hero's might by a number, which is 60, and reduces your armor by 35 for every 6 normal attacks launched for 9 seconds. I'm going to go through and explain how this one works, but for right now, it just means that after you've launched 6 attacks, you get 9 seconds of increased might and decreased armor. The might increase starts at 60%. I can actually go to the stars right now. It starts at 60%. 1 star will increase that by an extra 60 to 120. And 5 star will give you an extra 30. So 60, 120, 150. The armor decrease is 35. And then when you finally hit 5 star, you ignore that. So it goes down to 0. So her Black Tide, 65 or 75% chance of double attack, increased attack or might, and decreased armor. You're squishier, but you hit a lot harder. Now, her customizable skills. She has a couple same, but also a couple that are unique. So Armor Piercer, Infuriation, Active Mercy, Weak Spot Attack. Then you have Pay in Blood and Dark Flag. Pay in Blood is essentially a stronger, a higher damage, lower heal version of Bloodthirst. That's a secondary strike. So it goes and it'll deal, how do I say this? Right, we'll say 370 damage with 120 heal at max everything here. Whereas, yeah, I'll go through those things in a bit here. There's a whole section on that one. But Dark Flag, this one here is a secondary strike with a really high activation chance. And what it's going to do is increase the hero, or the might of the hero with the highest might by a portion, 110% at maximum, and reduces the enemy with the hero with the highest might by 100% for 6 seconds. Okay, this has a couple considerations. The first one here is this is a single target reduction on your armor. Okay, so it's only going to reduce one enemy hero, not like Armor Piercer, which reduces all enemy heroes' armor. It's only going to reduce one. However, because it lasts 6 seconds, if it activates twice in a row, it'll reduce one hero's armor by 100, and then chances are it activating the next time, the same hero doesn't have the most armor, so it's going to hit a second hero for the next one. So it can actually hit 2 heroes at once for that particular effect. Now, this increase of might to a hero with the highest might will most likely target Bellevue herself, not somebody else like Mulan. And I'll explain that in below. But you can read this thing as it increases your might by 110% on Bellevue and the enemy armor by 100. That's going to be up probably 60 to 70% of the time. Somewhere close to that. So with that there, there's 3 builds. The first one here is going to be the standard. This is the one that probably you will see everybody going. It's going to involve Mulan, Commander. It's going to involve Bellevue, second. And it's going to involve Attila, or Rani, possibly, third. Mulan will run... Pop that over his head. Mulan will be running Weak Spot Attack and Active Mercy. That is the most powerful combo of the stuff that she's got. She'll be running with Radiant Blade. Sometimes that you will replace Active Mercy with double attack, but these two are the better ones. Bellevue is going to be running Weak Spot Attack and Active Mercy. Some people will say to do Pay in Blood instead of Active Mercy, and I will describe that argument there later on. I'm going to say go Active Mercy, but either of those things are pretty good options. They're actually very close, so you'll see that in a minute here. Weak Spot Attack for sure, and one of those two. And finally, with Attila, he's going to be running his normal Critical Insight and Warrior's Hymn. This is going to increase the crit rate of all your army, and Bellevue especially enjoys that because of how much double attack she gets and how much might she gets. Very, very good synergy with that. But it's also going to reduce all of the armor of all of the enemy's heroes, and that's also a very good synergy with Bellevue. Everyone loses armor. Everyone gets super squishy. So those are going to be the ones that there. As for the free-to-play build, what you want to go here is you're going to take Bellevue, who you can unlock, and you're going to replace Josephine. For most free-to-play players, it's going to be Josephine, King Derek, and Attila. That's the army that they're going to be running. So this is going to replace Josephine with Bellevue. Other than that, though, the army runs exactly the same. Now Bellevue becomes the thing that does, a lot of damage, and is a way better replacement for Josephine, who is only middling damage mixed with heal. It isn't advantageous for your commander, with all the damage bonuses he gets, to be doing tank. Now you can go for pure damage, and your ability to fight will skyrocket high. This is a massive increase in damage for free-to-play players. This is really great for free-to-play. Now, for rings, I want to go jump over to this part here, but it's at the bottom. There is a surprise ring. Okay? There is an S++ ranking on the Ring of Daisy. And this is unusual. This is a really, really high ranking. Why is that? Well, first off, actually, Attila has it. So, Ring of Daisy. This one here is a blue ring. It's not even a purple ring. It's not a legendary ring or a signature ring. It's a blue ring. But it's a secondary strike skill. After you launch a normal attack, deals might damage to the enemy troop. And it's a portion here. And that's it. Seems pretty simple. The thing here, though, is because it is a normal attack, Bellevue is going to activate her passive thing and give you double attack really, really often. And that's going to give you double chances to activate this. So instead of a 20%, it's going to have a 40% chance to activate. So it's going to make the chance of this damage coming out a whole lot higher. And in fact, I went and calculated the damage of Effluent Sun, which is a legendary skill. This one has a charging state, so it does half as often. It deals damage over here and has a 30% activation chance. It also scales up to level 50. Ring of Daisy only scales up to level 30. Well, a level 30 Ring of Daisy deals 155 damage. A level 50 Effluent Sun deals 400. It's a lot higher, which it should be. It's a purple versus a blue ring. However, this Effluent Sun has a charging state. So that times 5 for charging phase. It has a 30% activation, so 0.3 here. You're going to take your 400 times 0.3 times 0.5, and you end up with 60 damage per cycle. Every 3 seconds, it's going to deal roughly, on average, 60 damage. Ring of Daisy has a 20% activation chance. Okay. It is calculated at X damage, so 150, times 0.2 plus 0.2. If you have double attack going, then it's going to have double the chance of activating for a double attack. And that's going to come out to 62 damage per cycle. If you have permanent double attack, this one does 62 damage. This one does 60 damage average over duration. Okay? Having permanent double attack, which Lu Bu is the one that can actually achieve that, makes this ring more powerful than a maxed out Effluent Sun, which is crazy. Okay, Bellevue doesn't hit quite perfect double attack. She hits 75%. So it's going to be a little bit lower, somewhere about 58 or something like that. But a blue ring at level 30 is worth as much as a level 50 ring for Effluent Sun. Bellevue gets massive value out of the double attack because of her, or sorry, out of the Ring of Daisy because of her double attack effect. It's just really, really good synergy. It's also extremely cheap, so everybody can get it a whole lot quicker, and that makes Ring of Daisy absolute S tier on Bellevue. It's really, really important. Okay, the next one here is going to be the Ring of Nightwolf. And nope, Falcon. Right here. Increases the secondary strike skills by 25% with a might bonus. 25% is huge because Bellevue can give herself a massive amount of extra might. Remember that plus 120 might she can give herself when she's at 1 star? That increases the normal attack and secondary strike skills, which is the important part, of your entire army, including Mulan, by an even larger portion. Okay? S plus ring for Ring of Nightwolf. And the final one on Mulan is Radiant Guardian. And this is one that I think people understand, but it gives her an increased double attack chance. No, not Skyward. Is that? Yeah. Increased hero secondary strike activation chance, nice, and has a 40% chance to gain double attack. So those are the 3 rings that I would suggest on this armor, or on this hero here. Lord of the Eastern Heavens, I put as A minus. It is good if you're going the normal attack build. Otherwise, don't do this. It's a huge investment for what is not a very large increase in your damage. You want Ring of Daisy, Nightwolf, Radiant Guardian. Ring of Deer is a good alternative. Ring of Tulip is also a good alternative if these are being used elsewhere. So with that is the standard build for Bellevue, who is going to be still an extremely dominant force, but now you have to be careful, now you have to be intentful. You don't have it quite as easy as you did always. Things got harder, so you have to be careful now. But you are still going to be one of the most potent forces on the field, especially in rallies. There your value is indisputed. So with that, if that is all you want to hear, then good luck, go for it. Let's see you dominate on the field. If you want to stick around a little bit longer and hear about the stats and the breakdowns and how these things work, then I got some interesting things for you. As for now, how it works. Bellevue, how it works. We'll start off with Bellevue's commander skill, because one of the things I need to highlight here is why do you not use Bellevue as a commander? Okay? This thing here deals might damage to the target, is going to be a damage of 200. Okay? Mulan does 620. Josephine does 650 for her commander skill. You're doing a third the amount of damage. Okay? Now, this one here's got a 300 rage cost with 100 initial. Mulan has a 250 with 150. So Mulan's first one is going to go off 10 seconds into the fight. Your first one's going to go off 20 seconds. Okay? Josephine goes off in 8 seconds. So she's even faster. She's really, really fast on that one here. So a lot of damage, no extra effect. 8 seconds. A lot of damage for 10 seconds. You get very little damage for 20 seconds. Instead, you get this increases your hero's might by a portion here. Okay? This is interesting, but caution. Okay? She has a might damage multiplier, and this has a might scaling. Okay, great. Base damage multiplier is 35. Base might of Mulan is going to be 450. So she's looking at 82% increase to her. From 35 goes up to 82. So you're going to be looking at an 82% increase to your skill damage, which is nice for 6 seconds. Okay? With her signature active, it goes up to 95. With Dark Flag even active, it goes up to 106. So you're basically looking at double your skill damage for 6 seconds. Now, you can only activate your skills twice in 6 seconds. First 3 seconds, first 3 seconds. This means that you essentially, for every skill you land, do 1 bonus skill damage effect. So that goes from, say, dealing 200 damage to now you deal 400 damage. It's twice as much. But for only 2 attacks. If you miss one of those attacks, you lose half that advantage. And that's it. Now, if you miss both those attacks, so you were unlucky, then you do essentially 0 damage for 50 seconds. That is the risk reward. It is a high risk thing, only for what is essentially 2 extra skill attacks, or 2 of each ones that you land. It isn't a significant amount because 6-second duration for such a long cooldown is just too small uptime, right? 6-second duration and 300 rage cross is far too little uptime. That's just, in a nutshell, why. Very small damage, and this just too rare, too slow, and too risky that you get nothing out of it. That it's just better to go for the extra 620 bonus damage Mulan. It's just more. Okay. Now, as for signature skill, the stat increase here you're going to get is going to be 60 at 0 stars, 120 at 1 star, and 150 at 5 star. This is the equivalent of a skill damage increase of plus 18, plus 36, and plus 45. So at 0 star, you're looking at plus 18% bonus damage, which is doubled at 1 star. It's actually a pretty decent sized chunk of might for that. And the armor reduction is there. Now, how does this thing work? For every 6 normal attacks launched for 9 seconds. If I have a hero, like say Mulan, Bellevue, and Rani, each hero will act and activate a normal attack once a second, and then the next hero once a second, third hero once a second, and then you go back to the first hero. To get 6 normal attacks is going to take 6 seconds, each hero attacking twice. So this means that every 6 seconds, you get a buff that'll last 9 seconds, and then 6 seconds downtime, and then 9 seconds uptime, 6 seconds down. But every time you activate a double attack effect, like say Bellevue, that reduces that by 1 second. If Attila activates, that gives you 3 heroes with double attack. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You will get this effect to activate in 3 seconds. So it'll be 3 seconds downtime, 9 seconds uptime. It actually ends up being really, really high with Attila and Bellevue double attacking as much as they do. Okay. Now, one of the things I want to emphasize with double attack is skill damage. Your skills, and let's just pick one. Have a % activation chance. This is each attack that you do has a 25% chance to activate. So in a normal thing, that's just 25. This is 25. But if I attack twice, I get 25 and 25. It's going to be worth 50% activation chance. So if Bellevue can give herself plus 75% double attack, I'll just say 100% for ease for a second here. This number is doubled. She now has equivalent of a 50% activation chance, where everybody else has a 25. It's twice as likely to activate, which means you deal a lot more damage. 75 is a little bit less than that, so instead of 50, you're looking at maybe 45, roughly, activation chance, which I actually went and calculated. Okay, and comparing Attila and Bellevue. So we're looking at Pay in Blood. Oh, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. 25% chance. Okay, normal for everybody else is 25. If you have Attila, it goes up to 33. Cool. Bellevue is sitting at a 41% chance base when everybody else is sitting at a 25. That's just the increase in the effect. If you have Bellevue at 75, it's a 43. You are almost double the chance of doing anybody else, so you're going to be doing almost double the damage. It also means that you're more likely to be get it in a row. So weak spot attack, which requires that the heroes damaged by a portion for 3 seconds, you have a much higher chance of the next one hitting with this thing. Weak spot attack becomes a lot more useful on you because you can chain them together a whole lot easier. So that's one of the reasons for why this one's so powerful and whatnot. So double attack gives you a whole lot more of that. I'm going to go on to the skills next. One of the things that people do, or we'll talk about, and I will list out the argument for you, but it's right here. Okay? I'm going to put this aside here. Do I go weak spot, pain blood, dark flag, act of mercy? There's 4 skills. They do different things. Which one is better? Which one should I go for? Okay, this is going to be one that actually a lot of people care about. First off, weak spot attack. Well, here, we'll do it this way. Act has a 235% at max rank, okay? But it will double that, increase your damage by 2% up to 100% to 470 at max rank. So, at maximum stacks, which is going to be when the enemy is at 50% hit points. So 235, 470. Now, weak spot attack is going to have a 370 damage, and then the bonus, like here. But we'll just go with 370 for right now. Pay in blood has a 370 with 120 heal. So 370 here, and the total together is 490 here. Weak spot and pay in blood will deal the same amount of damage. The question is 120% heal better, or 30% damage increase? And the answer is weak spot damage increase is worth way more than just the extra little bit of heal. Weak spot is better than pay in blood. Thing is, weak spot attack is also probably better than the act, and it becomes a question of which is better, act or pay. Because if you're going to run weak spot, act of mercy here, 235 at its lowest is weaker than pay. Okay? So if you attack someone who's at full health, act of mercy does less. If you attack someone who's at 50%, though, 470 is higher than 370, and by a lot. This one becomes a whole lot more powerful, damage-wise, than pay in blood when you attack a weakened target. The total value of pay in blood, though, is higher than act even at max strength. So this is the most total stats, damage and heal, whereas this one here is the most total damage with a ramp up, but the weakest damage early on. Thing is, when I go and do these things, weak spot attack is going to be so huge on you because you go and you have that huge chunk of extra might that your signature skill gives you. So the bonus is going to be increased by a lot. You're going to make whatever other skill you pair with this thing do more damage. And the heal does not scale with damage. Only pure damage does. So weak spot attack, being as buffed as it is going to make act more powerful than it makes pay. This is why I say weak spot and attack and act of mercy being the 2 skills to go for. You just have a better synergy with weak spot than you do with pay. So, and then also as for why not dark flag, the reason for this thing here is if you go weak spot attack, this does no damage. So the only thing weak spot attack in your entire build can boost is itself. That's not very much. You now have just weak spot dealing damage, and everything else is doing something else, not damage. This will increase your hero's might, which is nice, and reduce the armor, which is nice, but doesn't actually deal damage. And so that leaves you with just a single skill, and that's not a very good spot to be in. This does have a place in a normal attack build. It's very useful there, but not in the normal standard one. And as for Dark Flag here, an additional piece here is Mulan's base might is going to be 361.95. Bellevue's base might is going to be 377.7. So the chances of, like just at base, but you're not going to have a 0-star Mulan, right? That's just not going to happen. Okay. Bellevue is getting an additional 60 to 120 bonus might from her signature. Mulan has 506 might, while a 1-star Bellevue with her passive up has 517. Her passive is up most of the time, between like 3 seconds downtime, 9 seconds uptime, to maybe 6 seconds downtime, 9 seconds uptime. More often than not, her signature skill is going to be active than not. So even at 1-star, her might is higher than Mulan at 5-star. You have to use other things to try and force it to happen to target Mulan, which is doable, yes. But you don't want your Mulan or your Bellevue being left at 1-star, do you? You want to get her up there too. So as she gets higher stars, it becomes a harder and harder task, and good luck. And it ends up being where essentially we'll always target Bellevue. Okay? Just a quick one. Pay in blood, 370 damage versus 300 for Bloodthirst. So 70 extra damage. But heals 120 versus 135. You lose 15 heal. Pain Blood is just a straight up better Bloodthirst. So this is one of the biggest things that people are going to talk about is skills. I just want to list a quick thing about the Ring of Nightwolf here on Bellevue. Okay, has extreme value due to Bellevue stacking it up quickly. The buff duration is 3 seconds, which is 1 turn for each hero. Each 9 attacks equals each 3 cycles. So you need to accumulate 3 attacks on each hero to activate it. Or you need to get 3 double attacks to reduce it to 6 seconds instead of 9. Attila grants an automatic 3 double attacks. So if Attila activates, Nightwolf drops from 9 seconds down to 6. It just automatically goes in double hits. Or sorry, it drops it down to 1 cycle. Bellevue has to grant herself 3 double attacks to get the reduction, which will take 9 seconds. This means that Bellevue, if she's the only source of double attack on your team, or say Attila never activates, she will reduce it to 3 seconds on one, then it goes to 9 the next, then 3, or sorry, which means that she'll reduce it to 6 seconds, and then 9, and then 6, and then 9. Kind of every other one. Okay? Radiant Guardian will shorten this. Now, the shortest the cooldown this ring can achieve is 4 seconds, requiring 5 double attacks in a row. Okay? With a 3-second uptime, which means that its absolute best, this ring can go 3 seconds up and 4 seconds down. 3 seconds up and 4 seconds down, resulting in nearly 50% bonus for team-wide at the upper limit. This is more easily achieved with Mulan with Radiant Guardian, Bellevue, and Attila all at the same team. Okay? It requires as much double attack support as possible to get. And with that, thank you very much for watching my video. This is on Bellevue. There is a lot of research and a lot of math that had to go into this, so it took me a while to get it. But the end result is now that people are understanding a bit more why she works the way she does, and things like the Ring of Nightwolf or the thing of Ring of Daisy, why they are powerful on her and not just regular on her. But I also just wanted to let you guys know that I am doing coaching. If you're unsure what your army is doing, if you're not sure you've got the right choices or the right options, if that interests you, very, very fine-tuned details to make sure your army is optimized and you're the strongest you can possibly be. Come sit with me and I'll show you exactly. I can even pull out a calculator and show you down to the detail if you're that type. Or I can just make it all easy for you. I've done all the math, all the work, all of the exercise and stuff like that. Just ask and I'll give you the right answers. You can keep playing your warrior archers with ease. If that interests you, drop me a like on Discord, or sorry, drop me a message on Discord, and I'll see you around.